it's Ashleigh from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome to Fail Friday. On today's episode, I am trying to make homemade Mickey Mouse bubble tea, and I do kind of make Mickey Mouse shaped boba, but it doesn't really work out the way that I want it to. But don't worry, there's also other fails that I go through as well. Now, luckily, I had no issue when I was making these sugar cookies. Most of my sugar cookie fails I underwent well before I ever made this channel. Now, even though the actual sugar cookie turns out well decorated, I did kind of make a little error here. I put 2 holes in the head of the Mickey so that I could slip a plastic straw right through, but it doesn't end up working out that way just because the straw doesn't bend that way. So make sure that you don't follow that step if you're going to make this. Instead, what I would do is either just poke 1 hole at the top or don't poke any holes at all, and then you can just kind of slide it into the top of the whipped cream. For my icing texture here, I am using what I like to call a piping and flooding texture. And this texture kind of just all melts together. It's thick enough so things stay puffy, but it's thin enough so things go smooth. For every 1 cup of powdered sugar, I use 1 tablespoon of meringue powder, and then I add water little by little. It's really all about trial and error though, and getting the right consistency for yourself, because it also matters how much you whip up the icing as well. If you would like more detailed instructions on how to get perfect icing consistency, go ahead and click that right-hand corner. I'm doing a little bit of wet on wet technique here and adding on my pearls. These ones are just going to be rounded, and later on I'm going to add Mickey Mouse shaped ones. I want to use up the rest of this black icing, so I'm going to create little Mickey sprinkles. If you want to see how I do that, you can go ahead and click that right-hand corner on my homemade sprinkle tutorial. These larger medallions are going to go right on top of the drink. It's going to look really cute. I really want to make these Mickey heads kind of look like they're a boba drink in and of itself, so I'm just adding some gold lines to give it a little bit of that depth. Drawing in a few ice cubes here, and I thought it would be really cute too if maybe you were having a party and you wanted to serve these drinks, then you could write down the different flavors and make the Mickey Mouse look like the different flavor of drink. So if you were making like a matcha flavored drink, then it could be green. Of course, my favorite flavor is milk tea with pearls because I'm really super boring like that. I really wanted to make sure that people knew what this cookie looked like, so I'm writing milk tea with pearls on the ears. And I just look up a Disney alphabet and try to copy it as best as I can. I found this boba recipe just on YouTube here, so I will link their recipe video down in the description box below. But of course, I probably did not watch their video thoroughly enough, because one of my biggest problems here is that my heat is way too high. So when I'm trying to mix all of this tapioca starch with that brown sugar and water, things are clumping together way too fast. On top of that, I end up adding the food coloring way after this, and I think it toughens this dough even more. So even though I knew that things weren't perfectly right, I just kept going, because sometimes when I baked things in the past or cooked things in the past, I really just needed to keep going even though I thought it was wrong. Unfortunately, that was definitely not the case, and I should have known this because I've worked with a lot of different types of starches, and whenever things are too hard or not malleable, they generally are wrong. But I am not lying when I say I spent a good hour trying to roll these balls, and in the end, I threw it all away. I was so frustrated with that experience that I decided to just give it a day's rest and try again the next day. So basically this time all I changed was I cooked things really, really low and slow, and it seemed to be working out a whole lot better. I also decided not to add any food coloring at this point. And yes, it was much, much more malleable. However, it still was incredibly time consuming to roll all of these little balls. And I also wanted to make them Mickey shaped, so that was even more time consuming. Because of the texture of the balls, rolling them isn't as easy as, say, rolling fondant into balls. They're just a little bit squishier. I'm not sure how to describe it. But because of their soft texture, it does make it harder to make a nice smooth ball. But if you want to attempt to make these Mickey Mouse shaped boba, then what I would suggest is you dab a little bit of water onto the boba and then add 2 smaller bobas for the ears. Now, it does turn out for me kind of. When I boiled them, it was going well, but then when I went through that second boiling process of covering everything and bringing it up fully to the texture that it needed to be, it kind of all just fell apart. Now, I feel like if I had maybe boiled them on a little bit of a lower temperature where they weren't moving around so much, I might have been able to salvage the bobas. I did end up adding black food coloring at the end of the process or somewhere in that boiling process, and it actually seemed to work out, but I'm sure I could have added that food coloring in at the earlier step when I was forming the dough. It's just I was a little bit afraid of what that would do. Now here I'm just using my favorite instant milk tea powder, and all I do is I make it really concentrated with that boiling water, but only put a little bit in, and then I pour it over ice to get it nice and cold. Now, the bobas were still rounded, so they were just regular boba shaped, unfortunately. I didn't get to have my beautiful Mickeys that I had before. Now, normally I never have whipped cream with my bubble tea drink, but this is more of an over-the-top version of a bubble tea. Despite all of my boba woes, the drink itself actually looks pretty cute still. I do wish that the bobas were Mickey Mouse shaped, but I'm still pretty proud of how this turned out. As for the taste itself of the pearls, they were really good, and it actually tastes exactly like the ones that I buy from the restaurants around here. I really wanted to give this a try, but would I do it again? I don't think so. I think I would just go to the restaurant to purchase my bubble tea.
That's bang on.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading daily, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to submit your baking fail so that I can fix your fail by next Friday. Bye!